lazyfluency podcast へようこそ。お互い英語と日本語を切り替えながらカジュアルな会話を通して皆さんと一緒に言語を学んでいきます。I'm です。
And I'm Joey。
そして今日のテーマはシールトレンド。その前にいいね、チャンネル登録、フォロー、また聞いているプラットフォームでレビューもお願いします。コーファでのサポートもよろしく。それでは今日のテーマ、シールトレンド。
Before we get into that, we have a new book club book, and it is Kingdom. Amy, are you familiar with Kingdom?
キングダム。確か、あれだよね。誰だっけ。かっこいい人。山なんとか剣とか出てるやつ。
Okay, I'm surprised that you even have that much of a familiarity with it. I've actually haven't read it, but it's one of those series that in Japan is almost on the level of popularity of something like Berserk. Like everybody knows about it, but like nobody in the US I know reads it or has seen it. But anyways, if you're interested in reading that in English or Japanese, feel free to hit the link, jump in the Discord, and join us reading. Anyway, topic of the day is shiru or sticker. I don't actually have these. I'm wondering if it's actually a specific kind of sticker. And I know this might be thinking, seriously, stickers are very popular, but yeah, it's like, in I think the general world, something Labubus have been very popular. I think maybe you're familiar with Labubus, but it's kind of like that level of thing. But as far as I know, it's just Japan. And it's not just a generic sticker. I mean, do you want to describe the kind of sticker we're talking about?
そうね。なんか、この、今流行ってるシールっていうのが、うちら、私平成生まれなのね。平成生まれの、人たちが、小さい頃にやっていたシール交換っていうのがあって、その時にもう流行ってたシールが、今も流行ってると。なんか平成のリバイバルみたいな感じで。で、じゃあどんなシールかっていうと、なんかキラキラした感じとか、あとちょっとね、ポコッと、膨らんだシールとか、中に水が入ってるとか、あと、その中の水に入ってるやつで、キラキラが、ちょっとなんていうの、グラフィーティみたいな、そんなのがパラパラね、スノードームみたいな感じ、で、あると。
I didn't realize there was actually water inside of them. I saw the term being used. I don't know the technical term being bonbon drop seal. So it's a bonbon drop.I thought it was just meant to I guess describe it how I see it. They look like 3-dimensional stickers. I don't know where seal even comes from. Like shiru sounds like it's meant to be seal, not sticker. But from what I understand, it's a sticker. So do you actually attach? You know, like a sticker in English, right? You like peel it off and like it sticks to something, and you can only use it once. Is it like that? Because I can't really.
違う。スティッカーなんてシールよくちょっとデコレーションするためのシールって感じ。で、例えばだけど、難しいな、例えが。手紙を。
How do you attach it to things? Because I've seen people have it and they attach it to
シールなの。だから、後ろが、なんて言うんだろうね、もうだからスティッカーって感じ。もう、剥がしたり、貼ったりできる。でも、ある程度回数やると、その粘着力も落ちるから、あれだけどさ。
Okay, so it just is a sticker. Okay, it just is a sticker, but it's one that you can like take off and onto different things, right? But yeah, as you mentioned earlier, this was a trend like 20 years ago or something.
20, そうね, 15 to 20 かな.
Yeah, with I guess the Japanese early millennial age group, and with it re-popping up, it's not. You might be thinking.Is this just like a bunch of, like Japanese millennials getting back into like their childhood like nostalgia? And no, actually, the popularity and like following this trend actually started with like middle school, elementary students, and on TikTok specifically, as we keep saying more and more. Like Japan and culture almost exclusively. I mean, the US to some degree, but it's for me anytime I don't know something that's happening and then like it's getting really popular and then it starts invading the real world, it's always because of TikTok. In this case, that was also the same. But then also, so as that happened, then the older age group also has been getting into it. And actually some of the people that I was meeting like before I left going back to Idaho, I just started I noticed Amy was commenting on people's stickers on their phone, like, oh, that's a rare one. And I was like, this sounds like this reminded me of when I was younger, and they're like, you're pulling like, Pokemon, opening up Pokemon trading card packs. But it's weird to see it on like something just like a sticker accessory.
そうね。 まあでも実際私がまあ小学校の時にシール交換やってたんだけど、なんだろうね。なんか結構宝物みたいな感じなのね。宝物。で、自分が例えばこのシールあって、で、友達が、可愛いシールあるねって感じになって、そしたらなんか物々交換みたいに、このシールあげるからこれちょうだいみたいな。で、だんだん、コレクションが増えてったりとかして、なんか結構おもろかったんよ。私が小学校の時は。なんか、まあで
That
も
is the
ね、
same. That is the same vibe, like trading cards. Like, so I find it
まあ
interesting.
そうだ
Not that saying that
ね。
women don't play trading card games, but I would definitely say, as someone who plays a lot of them, it's pretty rare. If I'm being honest, like if honestly more so than anything I've ever done, I think like trading like one-on-one or multiplayer trading card games have you had the lowest female to male ratio, or I guess no women, basically no women. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is specifically, but it's interesting to know that like women got to experience that as well to some degree. And I guess now that we're talking about this, is this a gender thing? Are both men and women into shiru? My impression would be it's more like a women
girly
thing.
thing だ
But
ね。まあ、その私がやってたかつて小学生の時は、まあ女子そうだね、女子だね。女子と交換したりとかしてて。だけど、なんか最近、まあね、ニュースとかで見てみると、なんか昔は女子だけだったけど、今は男子もやってるよ、みたいな。で、なんか男子がやるなんかシールは、なんかカブトムシとか昆虫系とか、なんか乗り物とか
that's
かな。
great.
で、まあなんか男子も楽しめるようになって、なんか、よかったですみたいなのを、なんか大人の男の人が答えてて、で、それはなんか、なんか、シール交換コミュニティみたいな参加してる大人たちで。で、だから今大人も楽しんでるし、なんか小学校、中学校もやってるか知らんけど、ね、ちっちゃい子もやってるっていう感じで、まあでもね、すごい値段するんよね、今。人気だから。
I was about to ask about that. Well, the first
Yeah.
things when I was looking up about this topic online on YouTube, I was actually seeing a lot of like Japanese Mr. Beast style videos talking about going and getting the most like rare seals.
Yeah.
So I want to, okay, where do we want to start this? Maybe you aren't familiar with all this because I did do some research, but I want to figure out, I guess, how much familiarity you have with the sticker, the scene in terms of it's, and actually they're starting to make a lot of sense. There's like I don't want to derail this too far, but there is like a whole, like I remember there's like a whole Paper Mario is one of a series I like, and it had a whole game called Sticker Star, and I'm wondering if the stickers came from that. But anyway, putting that aside, what is your impression of like what are some most popular types of seal? I keep calling them seals because that's what it seems like it is, but stickers.
まあ、なんかボンボンドロップシールみたいなの、それさっきも言ってたけど、それがなんかめっちゃ流行ってるやつで、それが入手困難なんだよね。で、なんか、もうそもそも買えないから、世の中の親たちは、じゃあ自分で作ればいいや、つって、なんか平たい普通のシールに、なんて言うんだろうね、透明なボンドみたいなのあって、それを垂らすとぷっくり膨らむんよ。だからそれを真似してそうやって作ってる人とか、もうなおさら、なんていうの、平たいシールすらも買わなくて、もう自分で、ネットで見つけた可愛い、なんか、イラストみたいなをプリントアウトしてシールにして、その上にそのボンドをやってプクプクにするとかね、いろいろなんか工夫して作ってる人いて、で、なんならそのシールを貼るシール帳自体もなんか品切れらしくて、シール帳もなんか手作りで作ってる人とかいるらしい。
Do you want to explain the shirucho? Because that's another part. Is that what you like your trading binder basically for seal?
あ、そう、バインダーだね、そう。で、このシール帳が、なんて言うんだろうね、横開きで、なんかリングになるようなやつが結構、使ってたかな、私たちの時は。で、まあ、そこに、もらったシール、自分のシールを敷き詰めて、で、プクプクにするんよ。で、まあ、その YouTube で私も見てたんだけど、閉まらなければ閉まらないほどいいらしい。なんていうのわかる？だからそれだけプクプクってこと。だから、まあ、多分バインダーだからさ、まあ、ある程度なんかちょっと、最後ボタン閉めるみたいなのあるけど。
So you can't even close it.
そう。だけど、閉まらない、熱ければ熱いほどいいらしくて。へーと思って、持ち運び大変だなと思いながら見てたけど。
That's exact opposite of trading cards. The more expensive the trading card, like the smaller the binder gets, where you keep only really expensive cards. is there are you aware of there being a secondary market for these stickers? Like, and maybe you know, obviously I've looked some stuff up, but I'm wondering if like where people go online and there's like this is the most expensive set, or is it kind of like is like mainly just types of stickers are more or less expensive?
それはめっちゃ知ってるんでしょ。だってそれはだって店頭でさ手に入らないから、まあ、ネットで買ったりしてでそれが高いよね。
Oh, no, the other way around though. I'm talking about not like businesses selling it. I'm talking about like for example, with you know, Magic the Gathering. I play Magic the Gathering. I think people, you know, if you have a really expensive card, a lot of times people will like, you know, go to and sell that card for money, or you know, something that, you know, I'm saying open up booster packs to get a card for like $1,000 and sell it to a store or sell it to somebody. I'm saying, are we talking about that level of I guess demand?
あるんじゃない？だからシール帳にそのぷくぷくシールを貼ったやつを売ってたりとかもすると思うし。ね。
Oh, so like the entire binder.
なんかもう entire も売ってるんじゃない？
From what I was able to tell, just for some additional context, some of the most popular ones, I mean, it's all like kawaii-ke, but like Chiikawa and like anything Sanryo, Chiikawa is so weird in Japan. If you're not familiar with Chiikawa, it's originally a seinen manga that it was like a manga comic strip, and we actually did it as one of the book club books, but I don't think anybody who actually is into Chiikawa has ever read the manga or even know it's from a manga, if I'm being honest. But it's mainly the characters in the manga are cute, and then that made it popular. It's a very weird thing because it's not.
めっちゃ流行ってるけどね。
Yeah, it's been. Well, did you even know it had a manga? Did you know Chiikawa?
いやなんかちらっとね聞いた気がするんだよね。私もちいかわを好きな人がなんかちょっとポツポツ周りにいて。でだけどその時になんか漫画から始まったんだよねみたいな話をちょっとちらっと聞いた気がするんだよね。
Also, I do want to what's it called ask about why you think this specific phenomenon is gaining popularity, because I mean you mentioned something that I thought was really cool. Obviously we have like a cross generational gap here, and like now across both genders it seems as well. But to me, you know, I think probably to a degree that almost annoys people, I'm like an old-fashioned everything physical person, and I love the days. Well, I'm saying I love the days of like doing trade, like, you know, when you're actually doing like person-to-person trading, you know, with like trading cards for a lot of different reasons. But I'm wondering from your perspective, why do you think, like, what about? I don't think it's just the cuteness. I'm wondering why do you think it's more popular? Also, have you been collecting stickers without me knowing? Is that a thing?
なんかさっきもちらっと見たけど、やっぱりちょっとSNS 映えするじゃん。キラキラしてプクプクしてなんかちょっと可愛いねってなるから、まあそれ写真撮ったりとかでもまあ流行ったのもあるし、でプラス平成なんかやっぱりさ歴史って繰り返すんよね。昔流行ったものが何年かしてちょっとまた流行るとかさあるじゃん。ファッションでも、まあ、メイクアップでも身の回りのものでもなんかそういうこと多い気がするから、まあなんていうのサイクルがまた来たんじゃないかなっていうので。で、
Well, the thing, go ahead. Sorry.
私もだからやってたよっていう話よね。そう。
No, not やってた. I'm saying, are you into this new trend? Have you been collecting
今ってこと？
steel? Yes.
いや集めるわけないやん。
I mean, I know people who I'm friends with, like currently now, who are in their, you know, mid 20s and 30s who are collecting them. So.
まあでも時間とお金あったら別にやってもいいかなって感じだけど、今は別に興味ないかな。まあでもなんか、今さちょっと面白い感じの記事があって、ボンボンドロップシールっていうのがなんか一度はお蔵入りになっていたって書いてあって、多分失敗作に終わってたらしいね。で、ボンボンドロップシール、ちょっと待って、ちょっと見つかんなかったわ。シール交換カフェとかシール交換バーみたいな、やってるらしいよ。あと ASMR として、この立体的だからそれを触ったりとか、なんかコツコツしたりとかの音とか、楽しんでる人もいるらしいよ。すごいね、なんか。
I want to see in my head, I thought people were just buying them. I didn't realize like you were actually at inflating them yourself or how that process also looks like. But one thing that two things based on your comment as to why you thought they were popular that I thought were interesting. Was one, if I'm being honest, the first thing you said, actually, although it seems simple, you're like, oh, it's kira kira, it's online. That might be a simple explanation. I actually think that there is something very interesting about short form content, both like TikTok and YouTube Shorts, that awards very like, I guess in Japanese there'd be like the instabae, but we're not talking about Instagram anymore. Something that looks very like catching or popping for like social media content. For example, there was like a lot of foods have like trends of being very popular just because of like of depending on how unique the color of the food is and like how interesting the process of making it. So that's why there was like a whole matcha boom, because every time you make matcha stuff, it's green, it has this color, and so that's very suited to the like the algorithm in social media. And so although you're saying like, there's also the component, it was popular before, so it's gonna be popular again. I think there's an interesting thing there is probably the reason why it's popular now is because it's algorithmically the actual shape and the texture and the shining is like great for the algorithm, if that makes any sense. And then, but what I do find interesting, and I'm curious from your perspective, is the dynamic that at least back in the day, at least how I saw it, when people were collecting things, and I was into trading cards. It wasn't because of I saw something online and got into trading cards, because that was even before like YouTube. It was mainly like your closed school, whoever your friends were, and if you didn't have a play group, you didn't really get into it. So I'm curious if you know more about at least like I don't know how to describe this, but like we have like before it was just your real life, and the real life and your influence and friend group decides kind of what you're into. But here we have this weird thing where it's like the majority of this trend started from TikTok, but I'm assuming a lot of the peer pressure and people getting into it comes from the school. And so I'm wondering, when you were into stickers back in the day, was it something you organically were interested in to do, or did you feel like peer pressured to like have a sticker collection?
ピアプレッシャーだよ、絶対。ピアプレッシャーだよ。なんか、私ちっちゃい頃はさ、やっぱり、なんて言うんだろうね。家があんまりっていうか、全くか。ゲームやらせてもらえなくて。でも、ポケモンのキャラクターはめちゃめちゃ知ってたよ。なんでかっていうと、周りの子が喋ってるから。だから、それもピアプレッシャーの中にも入るのかな、わかんないけど。だったり、そうね、それは置いといて、で、シールも多分、周りの子がやってんの見て、私もやりたいみたいな、始めたと思うよ。で、そうね。なんか
There also is a very interesting difference. Sorry, go ahead.
すごい、全然関係あるけど、好きなシールはっていうやつ、ちょっと今リンク貼ったんですけど、ここで、なんかすごい昔の記憶が蘇ってきて、なんかちょっとね、ランキングがあって、1位から。
令和の中高生？
令和の中高生が熱狂してるやつなんだけど、これでなんか好きなシールはってやつで、アンケート取ってて、すごい記憶が蘇ってきた感じがあって、何かっていうと、1位ボンボンドロップシール。これは、私は知らんかった。昔あったかは知らん。で、2位がキャラクターシールっていうのがあって。で、3位ぷっくり立体シール。で、4位ウォーターシール。これ中にウォーターが入ってるのね。で、5位がシャカシャカシール。このなんかね、中にシャカシャカ入ってるのね、なんか無駄なやつが。シャカシャカ。なんかキラキラとか、なんかね、シールの中に、そう、シールの中になんか個体が入ってるからシャカシャカ言うみたいな。とか、あと、おはじきシール、今そう見てて、おはじきシールあったわと思って。なんか、おはじきシールっていうのが、ちょっとぷくぷくしてんだけど、より硬くて。硬い立体的なシールなんだけど、だいたい丸い形をしてるの。だから、おはじきってわかるかな？わかんない人は。
What's it called? The marbles game?
そう、マーボーなんだけど。それの形、おはじきだからおはじきシールって言うんだけど、すごい懐かしい。で、7位がイラスト手書き風シール。ちょっとよくわかんない。ホログラムシール。ね、ちょっと立体的に見えるやつとか、香り付きシールもあったの。なんかね、匂い嗅ぐとイチゴの香りとかね。写真シールよくわかんないね。そう。なんかとかいろいろあったりして、とにかく、懐かしいな。そう。
This is one of those episodes where having visual aids would be helpful, but just Yeah, as you'll learn very soon, as this is the only section we have time for. Everything's been very last minute, as Aimi has been getting more into not only her residency but also searching for what's it called, long-term residency locations.
そうとかね、いろいろ大変だったよ。もう昨日やっと東京からこっちに帰ってきて、もういろいろあってもう大変だったです。
But yeah, going back, actually, there's one more thing while we're still on the topic of seals I was thinking about, which is the and like I don't want to overstep my boundaries because I'm not actually sure. Like I do know there are people who are just like who are intrinsically really into collecting, and by people I'm talking about, I know there are men who are just like into collecting things for the sake of collecting them for their own personal enjoyment. And I'm going to acknowledge that I'm just going to say that also exists for women as well. But when I was thinking about the differences of what historically, like I guess I'd say like the two types of like ways things are commonly collected, and maybe like I don't know if it's like a gender divide or not. But for example, with the things that I tend to collect, if you like look at my background, or like I told you trading cards, or I guess maybe books are maybe similar to seals in some way, but there's always and I'm not saying this is good or bad, but I guess something I've noticed maybe with me and with other, I'll just say being around like men's spaces, there's always a practical use component based around something that is collected. So I have video games that you play. Trading cards, you play them in the game. There are people who don't play them like Pokemon, but I play, and I think a lot of people they play the game. Books, you read them. But with a lot of like I would say
ブックスはさ、なんていうの、交換とかじゃないじゃん。シール交換って交換することに意義がある。
I'm not talking about the trading in the moment. I'm just talking about things people collect. I'm saying I've noticed the things I collect, and I think a lot of like men just cross-culture even collect and this is there are exceptions, especially Japan. I know Japan has a big collecting scene across the board for everything. So I'm saying I'm not overstepping this generalization, but I do think, like at least for me in different communities, that is a component where I think a lot of this the things like the seal or the labubu, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that's fashion. Maybe this is why. Maybe this extends into fashion territory. But fashion doesn't have that trading component, right? Do you trade labubus? Do you know anything about labubus?
I know of labubu.
Wait, you have a labubu?
No.
Oh, okay.
なんかあれだよね、ブラックピンクのリサがつけて、可愛いねってなってみんなつけ始めたんでしょ、確か。
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I didn't know that culture. But anyways, I'm happy that there is. I guess one last thing. If you are interested in getting seals, as Aimi mentioned a bit ago, there are people who are making their own, but there are also fakes apparently, as with all things. And I'm not I didn't realize how many different kinds there are, but apparently you can, with the classic bonbon drop seal, there should be a part of it on the right side that says it's fun, apparently, like in very small part, like little like text or something, and you can compare that with the original color, and a lot of times that's different, and also the actual texture of the plastic that they have around the seal that you put something inside. If that's low quality, it can cause it to break. But apparently the biggest giveaway is price, but obviously this just depends on, like, if you're in Japan right now getting, but if you're getting seals for like 100 and 300 yen, you're probably buying fakes. Now, do I know if that matters or not? Not really, but I'm assuming if it's like trading cards, maybe you would care. So,
でもさ、trading cards なんて言うんだろう。トレーディングカードでさ、まあ何をさ、求めるかによるよね。別にさ、見た目が似てればさ、なんて言うんだろう。例えばマジックだったらさ、そのカードの強さは変わらないわけじゃん。別に偽物だろうが本物だろうが。だったらよくないと思っちゃう。
Oh, you can't use it in tournaments if it's
tournament。普通の人ってトーナメント出るの
even within it's a whole thing. I don't want to derail it too specifically, but if you have a fake that's meant to trick people, then not only is it like you might not be able to use it in a tournament or whatever, like Now, there's man. This is getting the difference between a proxy and a fake. But a fake or a counterfeit is meant to trick people. Basically, you're trying to sell money and rip somebody off. So it's very frowned upon. But a proxy is a fake that you're wearing. A fake that you have just for the purposes of playing casually. Although that is a very interesting point. There is a component with fashion where even though there's no such thing as a tournament in the look, like people will get, fake Gucci bags or fake, whatever shoes, or I'm assuming fake bonbon droppe, because it's less of a thing, there's how should I say this? There's a huge social component where you're doing it for other people, like you were saying earlier. You know what I'm saying? Like where you're not actually, maybe you are into bonbon drop seal or whatever, but maybe the majority or maybe equal to parts about that is that you want to show other people how cool your seal is, But for example, like, with collecting books, or I guess they're the background or whatever. I mean, I read the books, whatever, have them, where my magic cards, the vast majority of my magic card experience, especially because I don't have that much time to play, is just me and me. Does that make any sense? So I do find that component
確かに
interesting.
自分がどれだけ満足するかだよね。なんかよく言われるのがさ、ちょっと関係あるか分かんないけど、なんだっけ、デパコスメイクか、なんだっけ、デパコスの反対が、プチプラだ。プチプライスのプチプラって言うんだけど、プチプラメイクで、なんか、ちょっと見た目はほぼほぼマジで一緒だけど値段が全然違うよねみたいな。で、高いデパコスを使ってると、なんかやっぱ違うかもみたいな思うらしくて。本当実際違うとは思うよ。それだけね、値段はするし。けど、でも多分高いし、私、シャネオの何か使ってるとか、なんかそういう気持ちがやっぱり違いをさらに生み出してる気がするから、やっぱり自分がどれだけ満足するかだよね。
Yeah, I do find what's it called, man. I'm just looking at I was thinking with the current economy, it's maybe this is good because it increases spending, but at the same time, I'm thinking like with the currently, the yen weakening, if you're like a Japanese parent and your kids getting into these seals and getting the seal secondary market.
大変よ、もう値段が。
Because at least the thing I can say is, Magic the Gathering has, traditionally, your cards have value. You can sell. They probably go up in price over time, but with a fad like this, we don't know you know how long it's gonna last, and then you're stuck holding the bags, the seals.
難しいな。いやでもね、そう、うちらっていうか私たちが小学生だった頃はね、ラブ&ベリーっていうやつとかね。虫キングとかね、なんかね、いろいろ流行ってたんだよな。懐かしいな。私はやってなかったんだけど、気になったら調べてみて。ラブ&ベリーね、なんかそう、ファッションをね、人形に。
Oh, this is kind of...
なんかね、カードゲームっていうのかなんていうんだろうね、ゲームセンターで、なんか着せ替えみたいな感じのゲームっちゃゲームなのかな、あれ。で、自分がカードを持ってんのよ。それをその機械に差し込むと、なんか確かそのお着替えして可愛いねみたいなそんな感じだった気がする。
I will look it up then. But let us know if you have any. For one, if you're collecting stickers and know more about it, I'd love to know that. Two, if there's any thing that you've got into collecting, I just want to hear about the experience in general, especially trading. If you've gotten any sort of like trading hobby, especially in 2026, I would love to hear like if there's something that people still do physical trading and that culture as well. So any stories about that, let us know. As you know, lazyfluency@gmail.com or Spotify comments, because yeah, I think I've mentioned before, but like our Spotify listenership has like exploded, and you can write a comment Spotify. Just people, just be aware of that. That bell means we've reached the end of today's episode. Thanks for joining us on the Lazy Conversation Towards Fluency. If you have any language-related questions and are looking for general advice, send an email to lazyfluency@gmail.com. We might respond to the next episode. Also, consider supporting us on Ko-Fi to give video updates, Discord access, and which to lend a hand. And finally, make sure to check out our podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and more. We'd appreciate the support. This has been Joey.
And Ayami.
Signing off.
じゃあねー。